Hello and welcome to Gaming Again. My name is Muzz and I represented Scotland at the European Championships for Australian rules football. That is a mouthful. Yes, this was my second year representing Scotland. This year as vice captain, which was a great honour. Nominated by the peers and coaches, which was just a nice surprise, to be honest. Did not expect it. And this is just going to be me kind of talking about our experience on the day as it is a day tournament, how we got on. And to be honest, if you know anything about sport and you know anything about Scotland, it was a typical Scottish performance. So the way it works out, it is a day tournament. The games are made up of 20-minute full games, so 10-minute halves. And it's nine aside, so you can have 9 players on the park at one time. For our version of Australian rules football, the actual version is 18 aside, and you're playing on essentially a rugby pitch. And yeah, so we'll start off with the kind of group stages. We got England and the Swiss, so an absolute. If you want a game to kick off your tournament, Scotland versus England is definitely the one to kind of get you up for it, get you hyped for it. Like the rivalry's there. It was a pretty nice way to warm up. Um, Surprisingly enough, not being streamed on any of the sort of the streaming pitch. They had one streaming pitch, and they didn't put that on it, which I was quite surprised about, to be honest. And we didn't feature at all on that pitch, which I think was quite disappointing. From like there was a few teams that had, through their progress, had managed to feature more multiple times on that, but yeah, felt like a missed opportunity there because it was actually a really good game that we lost. Unfortunately, looking back on that game, we had, I think, more opportunities to score. We just didn't take them, and England got 2 cheap goals in the second half, which allowed them to win. It was a close game, but we were disappointed. We were definitely disappointed. Then we had to get our heads in the game and play the Swiss, who were great guys, got to say, lovely individuals, and we ended up beating them quite heavily by like 50, 60 points, which we needed to do if we wanted to progress. So we played really well in that game. I didn't even talk about where I was playing. So I started half back, which is a more defensive role in the back line. And due to a few injuries that we had, I ended up going into the ruck, which is where I've started my AFL career, and that's the person who goes for the balls up. And it's definitely, I think, the toughest position to play because you are literally, every time the ball goes up, you're fighting with a guy to try and hit it, or you're jumping knee to knee to try and win it. It's not for the faint-hearted. It must be said. So there was a lot of waiting about at this point. We were just trying to figure out if we got through to the next stage, if we qualified for the top 8, which would be the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and then final. And this is where it kind of took a bit of a rough patch because the organisation wasn't great, it must be said. We had qualified, then we hadn't qualified, and then we knew we'd qualified, so we're like, excellent. We were playing England again, we were playing Croatia, we were playing every single team that had qualified until they managed to give us Wales. So we played Wales in the quarterfinals. And first half, first 2 minutes, we went 2 goals down. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a long game for us. And then in the last 5 minutes of the first half, we put on an absolute clinic, scored 5 goals in 5 minutes. It was really something, probably the best spell of Aussie rules I've ever seen. We were just on it, absolutely playing fantastically well. And then we came in half time. We were 5 goals up. We then scored an early goal in the second half. So you're thinking, yep, we're gonna do it. But unfortunately, Wales beat us in the last minute by a point, which was really tough to take. Uh, yeah, that was a bitter pill to swallow, especially being so high, like so far away, like 6 goals to 2. You might not think it's that much, but in a 10-minute half, yeah, we we should have I think there was a lot of things that could have been done, but hindsight's a wonderful thing. Um, I think one of the key turning points was actually one of their boys get knocked out with about 4 minutes to go, and I think that just allowed them the time to like gather themselves, the Welsh boys, and be like, "We've got time." I think they were only like 2, 3 goals behind at that point, so they're like, "We've got time. Let's just calm it down." Whereas I think we almost took the opposite. We were, I think, making wrong decisions. We were doing a lot of things that contributed to our downfall, and it was just a typical Scottish performance, unfortunately, and a typical Scotland result. I don't think Wales outplayed us in any stretch of the in any period of the game. It was a really good game to play in. I wish I'd played more of it, but I was kind of trying. I was swapping in with the ruck who was absolutely killing it, so he was kept on, and I was kind of back up for him if he needed to come off. But there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that you can think about these performances. Like if we kicked one behind, it's a draw. If we kicked, another goal, it's probably done. But it was. We were very, very disappointed after it. It has to be said. Like you could tell it was affecting a lot of us. That kind of result. Uh, Thankfully, the way it works, your day is not over. You're kind of playing for your ranking at that point. So because we got beat in the quarterfinals, we were then playing to see who qualified for like the fifth and sixth place position, and we got England again. So I think this really helped us. I think it really saved our day in terms of it got the energy back up. We knew that we were probably hard done by in the first game against England, and we showed that because we beat England for the first time in our history, and the scenes after it were unreal. Like the scenes after it were unreal. Just really, I think got there. It made the day feel like a success rather than a failure, because we'd achieved something that we'd never done before. We then did play one more game, which I'm not going to talk about, but we get beaten that game. So we finished sixth, which overall is our best position. Um, it's like, as I said, a typical Scottish performance. To be honest, the the lows of the Wales game followed by the highs of the England game will be aye. I think talked about for a while, like how disappointed and in disarray we were after the Wales game compared to the adulation after the England game. It was something that was essentially saved our day, definitely saved our day. Um, the women's team, just a shout out to them. They got third place. They done fantastically well. Unfortunately, we did not have many opportunities to watch them just with the nature of the game. So they got a medal, which was fantastic. Really, really happy for them. Overall, I mean, I think, as I said, it was a mixed bag of a day for me. I think in both England games, I played really well. I think the Swiss game, I played well, but I think everyone played well in that. I think the Wales game will be the one that I think back to and think I could have contributed more. To be honest, that's the one that is gonna. I came away from last year having a game like this where it was more my performance on the pitch that I was more concerned about coming off. away from that game. Whereas this was like I could have been on doing more, but maybe I wouldn't have. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, as I've said. But definitely the Wales game, I will think back to and think like, what could we have done differently? But I'm sure everyone else is doing that. Um, Being vice captain, yeah, it was, as I say, a great honour for me to be a part of the leadership team. I'm definitely like I'm not much of a speaker off the pitch. I do a lot of my kind of talking on the pitch. I'm an organizer. Like I do. It's weird because as soon as I cross that line, I become someone very different, especially when it comes to sport. Like I will shout at people and like tell them to do their job and be just absolutely cutthroat about it. Whereas off the pitch, like I won't be like that. Like I'll have maybe a bit more of a discussion about like telling people what to do. But on the pitch, I'm like, go here, not do it now, like stuff like that, like kind of basic. So it is quite an interesting kind of change in my personality. But I think that's what sports brings out of me and my competitiveness. But yeah, just a really good part, great to be a part of it is what I'm trying to say. And this is the top, the Klansman top. Get a lot of compliments on it. As well did Scotland, because we had a piper there who was called Hillian. He was excellent. Piped. It was also my birthday. Also my birthday. So it was a good way to spend my birthday. And Hillian played Happy Birthday on the bagpipes for me, which was pretty cool. A pretty cool experience, it has to be said. Overall, yeah, disappointing highs. That's the only way you can describe that day. Maybe not disappointed, like just a roller coaster ride. We were so low, and then we're so high, in the space of two matches. So there's positive to take. We've taken a step forward from last year. We, the way it worked, if we had beat Wales, we probably could have made the final as well, which is even more frustrating when we think about it like that. But it's just one of these things. It's sport. It's why we love it. It's why sometimes we don't like it. You know, you're on the wrong end of a performance like that, where we played so well for so long, yet still got beat by 1 point, which was aye. But don't want to end on a sour note. As I say, we beat England for the first time in our history, which is fantastic. Like that is a huge step, and it shows that we can compete with Wales, who got to the final. They get well beaten by France, but we played very well against a team who got to the final. So we need to take the positives from that. We need to realise that we are not that far away from potentially getting to a semi-final or a final with this group of boys. So that is something that we need to hold on to, and I hope we do, because next year we'll be going again. Hopefully I'll be going again. That'd be quite nice. But yeah, just kind of my day. Playing in the European Championships for Australian rules football, which again I handled it better that time. But yeah, do you play Aussie rules? Were you at the Euro Cup, the European Championships for Australian rules football? Let me know down below in the comments. With all that being said, all said to say, any thoughts, comments, general hostile remarks, leave them below. Thank you very much.